In the middle of a glittering corporate gala, while the room laughed, clinked glasses, and toasted to success, the black maid in the corner froze. She had just spotted something so subtle no one else in the $1,000 suits noticed. Within minutes, her quiet decision would be the only thing standing between the billionaire CEO and a fatal end. Monica James had been working at the prestigious Westwood Tower Hotel for almost 8 years, wearing the same crisp black and white uniform, the same low-soled black shoes, and carrying the same quiet, polite smile that allowed her to move through halls unnoticed. Most guests barely acknowledged her existence, which was fine by her. People revealed the most when they thought no one was paying attention. That night, the hotel ballroom glittered under chandeliers worth more than Monica's entire annual salary. The air was thick with expensive perfume, laughter, and the sound of champagne flutes clinking. The guest of honor was James Langford, a millionaire CEO whose face was on business magazines and billboards across the country. Monica had seen him before, always with a sharp suit, perfect hair, and a phone glued to his ear. He wasn't cruel, but he was the kind of man who could pass you in a hallway 3 times and never actually see you. The gala was in full swing. Waiters, darting in and out with trays of hors d'oeuvres, a jazz band playing smooth notes from the stage, when Monica's eyes caught something odd. She had been wiping down a small spill near the dessert table when her peripheral vision picked up a man she didn't recognize. He wasn't dressed like the others. Sure, his suit was nice enough, but it was a little too big in the shoulders, the cuff buttons were mismatched, and his tie knot looked rushed. He wasn't talking to anyone, just watching James Langford. Monica's instincts prickled. Years of cleaning rooms had taught her to notice details most missed. Half-empty cups that shouldn't be there, a wallet out of place, a stranger lingering in a corridor. The man adjusted his jacket twice, but Monica's sharp eyes noticed his hand dipping briefly toward his inner pocket each time. Not normal. She glanced toward the security guards stationed by the doors. They were laughing at something on a phone, oblivious. Monica told herself she was probably imagining things. After all, this was an exclusive event. Every guest would have been vetted. But something inside her whispered, "Don't ignore this." She kept watching. The man's gaze never left Langford, even when waiters passed between them. Monica's heart started to thump. She thought of her son back home, how she always told him to trust his gut. She decided that if no one else was paying attention, she would. Monica had a problem. She was just the maid. Even if she went up to security, what was she supposed to say? "I think that man's suit doesn't fit right?" They'd laugh her off. She'd seen it before, staff speaking up only to be brushed aside because they weren't qualified to judge. She decided to test her theory. Moving casually, she crossed the ballroom floor toward the dessert table on the opposite side of the man. She didn't look at him directly, but from the corner of her eye she saw him stiffen as she got closer. His left hand twitched toward his jacket again, like he was checking something was still there. Monica bent over the table as if rearranging the pastries, but in reality, she was straining to hear. The man muttered under his breath, barely audible, over the music. She caught only a few words. "Wait for signal. Closer." Her stomach dropped. This wasn't her imagination. Monica's eyes darted to Langford, smiling, shaking hands, oblivious. She knew she couldn't just yell across the room. Drawing unwanted attention could push this man into action faster. She needed to act quietly, but decisively. Monica spotted William, the head waiter, a friend who trusted her judgment. As she walked past him, she brushed his arm and whispered, "Code Amber." It was a phrase they'd made up months ago after a security incident when a guest had a violent outburst. It meant, "There's a danger. Don't question me now. Alert security discreetly." William's eyes widened slightly, but he nodded. Within seconds, he was gone, heading toward the staff exit that led to the security office. Monica returned to her position, pretending to clean. The man was moving now, closer to Langford. She saw his hand slip fully inside his jacket. Panic surged through her. Security wasn't back yet. She was the closest person between the man and the CEO. She thought of doing something she never would have considered before, putting herself directly in his path. Monica didn't have a plan beyond one word: block. She moved forward, deliberately, bumping into a passing waiter so the tray of drinks tilted and splashed. The waiter gasped, the glasses clinked, and in the small chaos, Monica stepped directly into the stranger's line of movement. "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir," she said loudly, forcing him to stop. He froze, eyes narrowing at her. Up close, Monica saw it. His pupils were too dilated, his breathing too fast. He didn't answer her, just tried to sidestep, but she shifted again, feigning clumsiness. "Let me just wipe that up. Oh dear, I made such a mess," she babbled, her hands moving toward the tablecloth while keeping herself squarely in front of him. His jaw clenched. Monica's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. Then she saw it. The inside of his jacket where his hand rested wasn't just cloth. There was a hard, rectangular outline. Metal. Her throat went dry. Just then, security burst through the ballroom door, their eyes locked on the man. The stranger's head snapped toward them, and Monica saw his decision before he made it. He shoved his hand deeper into his jacket, but before he could pull anything out, Monica did something no one expected from a woman her size. She lunged forward, both hands grabbing his wrist with a grip she didn't know she had, and screamed, "Now!" Security tackled him instantly. The music stopped. Gasps filled the room. Langford turned just in time to see the man being pinned to the ground, a pistol sliding across the polished floor. The entire ballroom erupted into chaos, guests shouting. The band silenced, phones flashing. Monica stood frozen for a moment, her hands shaking violently. She had no idea how close that man had been to making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Later, after the police took the man away and the crowd had dispersed, James Langford found himself in a quiet lounge off the ballroom. His suit jacket was draped over a chair, his hair slightly mussed from running his hands through it. Monica stood near the door, still unsure if she was supposed to leave or stay. She felt out of place in the plush room with its leather chairs and gold accents. Langford looked up at her, his expression unreadable for a moment. Then he stood. "They told me it was you," he said slowly. "They said you saw him before anyone else did." Monica shrugged lightly, trying to deflect. "Just paying attention, sir." Langford shook his head, almost in disbelief. "No, you saved my life." He stepped closer. "If you hadn't acted when you did—" His voice trailed off. For the first time, Monica saw past the confident CEO exterior. He looked genuinely shaken. "I owe you more than I can ever repay," he said. Monica didn't know what to say. She'd never been thanked by someone like H if this story moved. "You, remember? Sometimes the quietest voice in the room is the one that saves a life. Share this video, honor the everyday heroes around you, and never overlook the people who are always watching out for others, because you never know, the person you pass by today might be the one who saves you tomorrow." Before, certainly, not with such sincerity. The next morning, her picture was in every local paper. Not in the background of someone else's story, but front and center. Hotel Maid foils armed threat against CEO. She got calls from news stations, invitations to speak at safety conferences, and, most surprising of all, an offer from Langford himself. "I want you on my personal security detail," he told her. "You see things others don't. I trust you with my life." For Monica, it wasn't about fame or a paycheck. It was about proving something she'd always believed. that being invisible didn't mean you weren't watching, and sometimes the quietest person in the room could make the loudest difference. And as for Langford, he never walked past a staff member without looking them in the eye again. Some debts can never truly be repaid, but every day after that, he tried.